to start by telling us your name and your relationship to Windsor?
Hi, I'm Wes Gilbert. I grew up in Windsor, was here most of my life. When I got married, for 4 years I was in Broadbrook, and then we went to Pennsylvania for 20 years. And then we came back to Windsor, bought my parents' house, and have been fixing it up ever since. And the real good thing about moving away is you learn to appreciate what you either miss or have changed or have lost, whether it's friends or the area or other stuff. So we came back in the late summer of 2004, 2 days before school started, so our 3 children could get in school. And it was neat being back, and I had thought about a lot of things. And we used to come back every couple of months, and you also learn who your friends really are. Some people keep in touch, some people don't at all. Some acquaintances keep in touch and become really great friends. So coming back, we had, it was really kind of neat because we had friends borrow trailers and borrow trucks and help us move back, and we had a U-Haul we brought back probably 10 different times. But the other thing that really relates to Windsor is I went to Pequannock School, and of course it was a nice, quaint school, and it kind of seemed like everybody was friends. And then when you grow up, you realize that some of the guys were bullies and some of the people weren't very nice, but you rolled with it. You were still friends with them, and you didn't really, you weren't intimidated, or it just didn't hit you that that guy was kind of a bully. And coming back, my children were in catechism, which was held at Pequannock School. And one day I was early at picking them up, so I wandered through the school, and it really hit me. This is the spot where I was in 6th grade, 5th grade, this and that. I remember this. And I rolled down the hall, and I said, this is the corner I was standing in when I heard that President Kennedy was shot. And I remember the 2 other people that were standing with me, and it kind of hit you. You know, this is where my early times were. And the other things that always happened when I was back is every little spot in Windsor, I said, that's where I rode my bicycle up the hill. That's where I hung around with my cousins. That's where we went down and did that. And Windsor was kind of neat because my cousins lived on the other side of it. And we used to have fun when we got together. I would suggest things and they would do it, things that I would never do. I can remember being everybody on bicycles, and you had so many guys, you had made somebody get on the front. And I was pedaling and riding the bicycle, and I didn't realize that you're supposed to go over near the curb so the guy could kick garbage cans over. That wasn't very nice. But I do remember Timmy Porter from Loomis was with us, and at the time, so this was probably early 70s, late 60s, he had long blonde hair. And then I remember the cops came looking for the kid with the blonde hair, and all the rest of them, I don't know, he plays stupid. But also different stories like that people weren't behaving, but it was a neat place to grow up. And I mean, there's everywhere in Windsor, whether we went to the high school with the kids or the middle school. Of course, the middle school wasn't around, except that it was in my neighborhood off of Kennedy Road, where I grew up. And you go into high school and it's all changed, and you remember, okay, parking out in that parking lot or going here. And it was nice coming back. And then I joined a Windsor Marksman, a gun club in Windsor. And one of my old friends of a friend's that I was still in touch with was in it, and he kind of egged me into joining. And I found out there's about 7 other people from the class of 72 that were in this club. People I hadn't seen since Pequannock School, kids I hadn't seen since middle school. So it was kind of neat. And people were grown up, and the bullies weren't bullies anymore, and it was very nice.
How do you think your kids' experiences growing up here are different from yours? Are you in the same neighborhood that you grew up in?
Well, yeah, we're not far away. I grew up right on Kennedy Road, and now we're on. And the important thing about that is all the land around me and behind me is land I played on. And years ago I had permission, and then when we came back to Windsor, I got permission from Joey Thrall to go on his land. It took me a long time to ask him because I was afraid he was going to say no, but he said, sure, go ahead. And so I go on his land and travel through it, whether on my legal, registered, quiet motorcycle, or my kids go on it. And so the town and the land and the places we played outside and rode motorcycles meant a lot to me, and I still do some of them. My kids, it was funny, we used to come back and visit from time to time, and they at one point said, we're here so often, why don't we just move back? We thought they were, developing such close friends in Pennsylvania. You never know. So we did, and we did it before anybody hit high school. And my mom and dad were still alive. My sister came back from Vermont and bought a house in the neighborhood, and they moved in with her, and we bought their house. And like I said, I've been fixing it up, and they were close. And so my kids finally got to know my parents and my sister, and Windsor's different. It's the racial profile is different, and it's just a lot of people that are trying to be middle class and being middle class, and everybody has different judgments. And some of my kids bought into the new way that you have to have this phone or these sneakers to be great, and of course it's not. It's what you do, it's what you accomplish, it's how you behave that matters. And it's taken him 10 years to get over it and get to the truth. The girls kind of didn't buy into it that much, but it was different when I was a kid. I don't believe you were judged that way quite so much. We spent a lot of time with the kids in school activities and different things, and sports and things, and I learned a lot then. My father and I really weren't into sports. It just wasn't our thing, other than motorcycle racing. But I learned how my daughters, I had a daughter, still have a daughter, that was very meek and very shy, but she was in Windsor Water Rats. And she joined the swim team like before she even got into high school. And all of a sudden she's in high school, she has friends, she doesn't care if she dresses funny. They dressed up funny on purpose and did weird things. And she had no angst at all. It was wonderful. And that was something I learned. Being a part of a team is pretty neat. Same way with work. If you have a team you respect, you work for them. So Windsor was some ways tough there, in some ways wonderful. And my dad passed away in 2009. My mother lasted till 2014. And my mother always said, "Are you glad you're back?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm glad we're back. We've gotten to know people better. The old friends are really close now." And the area, Pennsylvania was everything was big. It took you a long time to get places. Yeah, I used to go shopping in Allentown, half an hour away. Windsor, everything was close. We could go to the post office here or there, and the shopping center's close, or a couple of them. So a lot of neat, convenient things about Windsor. And as always, the teachers are great. They're working their butts off, trying to make it work in a system that's difficult. And I won't bring politics into it. It's just that Democrats haven't learned how to not spend money. We've got a great tax base here. They shouldn't be spending all the money they get. Anyway, so we'll stop at that. How's that?
Thank you so much. I kind of want to ask you about the Marksman's Club. If you have like another couple of minutes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. On film? I don't care.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Sure.
if,
Sure.
Yeah, if you're willing.
Yeah.
Could you tell me how you got involved with that and where they are and what they do?
Well, we're actually a club of about 275 members. At the moment, I'm the secretary. I didn't think I'd ever get involved in doing anything like that. But it's actually, we don't have much land. But we do have a neat range down between the Farmington and Connecticut River. We have different kind of matches you go to, and you can, whether it's pistols or rifles and all kinds of things in between, where you knock down bowling pins, where you shoot for scores, or you shoot for your group size. And there's always somebody that can help you, can teach you something. It's pretty neat. I got in from an old friend that was in it. He said, "Oh, you got to join," and I did, and I just started meeting people, and then ran into all the old people from my class. It was pretty nice. There are matches that you can go to as a complete novice, and whether you have the best, newest, most up-to-date equipment doesn't matter. They help you. You'll get better, you'll get competitive, and it can be a lot of fun. And in the last couple of years, we've had lots of new joining members because a lot of people have gotten their pistol carry permits, and they have a place to shoot now. And I'm affiliated with other clubs and have other friends around. I have friends that you can take your class with to get your pistol permit. So there's a lot of things to do, and it's a pretty good time. And it's like I said, people help you. They'll teach you, and you learn even more safe handling of firearms at the club. Forever, get your finger away from the trigger. Don't do that. And you learn. It just gets repeated.
Are most people in it from Windsor?
Not at all. Probably, I'd say under half of them are. They're from all over. Yep. Anything else you want to know?
Yeah, but it's okay. I think we could stop there. Thank you so much. I just at the Historical Society we hear the shooting range.
Yep.
And I realized I really didn't know. Well, it took me forever to figure out that was down there.
That's right. It's down behind there. Yep.
The banging was. But
the other thing about Windsor is actually right where Box Turtle Lane is, there used to be a dirt road, and there was a fellow that lived there named George Ritchie. He used to come over and cut our hair when I was a little kid, and he used to work on his car at my folks' house. The group my parents were in on Kennedy Road, my parents were the youngest ones there, and they called it the Windsor Men's and Ladies Club. They used to get together every month and play cards and stuff, and I can remember all these old guys, and Uncle Joey and Uncle Walt and all these people that were nice and were part of it. And George Ritchie used to always, he didn't have any children, but he always used to complain about how bad they would be, and they'd be borrowing my cigarettes, and they'd do this and they'd do that. And then we used to go get together from time to time and go out to Stratton Brook and go swimming. And I can remember probably being 4 or 5 years old and whining to my father that I had to go to the bathroom. I mean, they were way, way, way down there for a little kid. And Uncle George picked me up, threw me on his shoulders, and said, "Let's go." The mean old guy, but he was nice. And the other thing is, he always talked about, he was I think an 8th Native American, and he always used to tell me stories. And he said right along the Farmington River, half a mile north of Breakneck, is where there's an Indian graveyard. And I've never been there, but I know where it is, and I think the state might have done some excavating there. But there's stuff all around. There's arrowheads everywhere. It's neat.
Very cool.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you sitting down.
Yep.